I really, really enjoyed the course. I knew like the normal managerial protocol of like you have to have one-to-ones, you have to be nice, you know, think about your reports first and all of those good stuff. And I felt like I was doing them, but it just, for some reason, didn't feel authentic to me. I always want to show up with integrity. It's not always possible, as in, of course, it's always possible, but I choose not to because sometimes it's difficult. But that's good. That means that I am working through some of the mental barriers that are preventing me from showing up with integrity. Did I see myself as a leader before doing this course? I think on paper, yes, I was a leader and I was a manager, but I didn't know how to lead. I just wanted to ensure that my reports understand the rationale behind why I'm asking them to do certain things, and then wanting to do it because they understand the benefits of it. I don't want you to do it for me. Ultimately, everything you do is for yourself. In a corporate setting, accountability is more tied towards we need to see that this person is doing X, Y, and Z, which, you know, I understand why we need to do it, but I prefer when it happens naturally, when, you know, you don't have to put a lot of effort into being accountable because it's part of your being, it's part of how you want to show up. Sometimes they'll ask me such bold questions and I'll be like, oh, like, I'm not sure if I could have asked those questions to my manager, but it's great to see that they feel comfortable asking those sort of questions with me. I always say, guys, if you can't figure it out, don't worry, come and speak to me and I'll coach you through how to do X, Y, and Z. And I find that what I have noticed lately is that my reports are more willing to come and say, hey, like, this is not working. Can we have a look together? I have lately become aware that we all interpret one piece of information in a completely different way, which is scary. To me, securing the agreement is about that. It's ensuring that everybody has understood what is required. We all make mistakes because we have misinterpreted the request. Happened to me certainly as well when I was given a task and I was like, oh, they want this from me. But actually, it turns out a couple of weeks later, that's not what they've asked. I know the techniques that I could use to open up the conversation and dig a little bit deeper and find out what is it exactly that this person is thinking. Coaching really helped me with that. The less I talk, the better. I try to limit how much I talk in conversations in general. Because, you know, it's never been about me. It's always been about the other person. I just see conversations in such a different way. It's not about what I have to say. It's about the other person's perspective and what they have to say. I find that I'm much faster in going into that mindset of like, okay, this is just about this person and what they have to say. I really miss, the Wednesday calls that we had, because every Wednesday I felt like, okay, I'm getting into that mindset of coaching, active listening, non-interrupting, and all of that good stuff. It not only enhances our working relationships, but for me personally, it enhanced my relationships outside of work as well. It was super valuable to see people who are in a similar position as me, but who have like different styles of communicating with one another, and just seeing like what they're struggling with and how I could learn from their conversations. The thing that helped me the most was live coaching. You have to remember all of the skills that you've learned so far on the course, but also try to help the other person, and you get the immediate feedback afterwards. I'm all for feedback and criticism, and so being able to receive it straight away was very useful. I would trial it during the session, and then I'd feel more confident having those conversations outside of the cohort. I think it will stay with me for the rest of my life. That self-awareness of like, I didn't need to say that, but I did. Why? Like, why did I say that? It would have been such like a different conversation had I not chimed in, had I not interrupted, had I actually listened and reflected on what the person was saying, and I could have asked a more meaningful question. It feels like the weight has lifted from my shoulders, because it's not about knowing everything. I can't know everything. It's just a process. I think as leads, we always want to know the answer. We want to give direction straight away, as opposed to like, let me get back to you, because nobody likes that. It's about people. It's about leading with empathy, opening your heart, and trying to follow your heart in a place where it's like counterintuitive. I hear from my reports like, oh, I didn't want to say that because I thought there would be like repercussions if I said anything negative. And I'm like, no, like, absolutely not. There are no repercussions. Nothing is out of bounds. You can talk to me about anything. That's a true leader who coaches, is the person who leads with heart, and they prioritize humans and relationships over anything else. I'm second person who graduated from LWC in our company. So I think definitely when we have these conversations at work, the two of us always try to like chime in and say, hey, how about doing it this way? So I think certainly it does shape the culture. Once you let them know what the expectations are, in my case personally, I found that people were able to like get it and run with it. This is how I lead. This is what you can expect from me, and these are my expectations from you. And I found that when they have clarity, they're able to show up their best. And now I'm able to have these tough conversations, feeling more confident, feeling like I know how to deal with this. I also understand how I can word things in a way that is constructive and hopeful. And I think that's what we're missing a lot of the time when we have these tough conversations. I always try to finish my tough conversations with, I have been where you are. I've done the same mistakes, and I'm here to help you. Like, we can figure it out together. Have you had those tough conversations? Have you told them how you expect them to work? No? Well, then, of course, they'll go and do their own thing that they think is better. A lot of the times, clients think that this is a super big issue. We cannot resolve it. Like, this is the end. But a lot of times, those issues can be easily resolved with just a simple conversation. I used to be very much like, well, this is obvious. Like, why can't you do X, Y, and Z? Or why aren't you like this? I've done the values exercise with my reports, and I got such great answers, and they were so different from mine. I certainly feel empowered that I have the tools to have these difficult conversations with people. I've always had this like latent like anxiety about like going out and seeing people and like just talking to people in general. But now all of that is gone. I am so much more relaxed. I feel empowered that I have all the words. I know all of the techniques that I could use in conversations. I know how to provide space for the other person to feel safe and secure. I've gained this like internal peace every time I'm talking to people, because now I don't have to chime in all the time. I can just step back a little and just observe, and that's the beauty of having meaningful conversation. Sometimes I'd have these conversations where they'd say something and there would be like a long pause, and then they say something that is like a gem that is so powerful, and I'm like, that's why I was quiet. I feel like after the course, I've learned how to communicate again. It's when they didn't even expect that from themselves. That's when the true influence comes in. When they say something that is like aha moment, that's priceless. I think you've given them an opportunity to come up with the answer themselves. It wasn't forced. It was very gentle. It was in their own words that feels true to them. And it's not loud, it's not aggressive. I think a lot of the self-help books or courses, they always talk about like, oh, go get it. It's all very like forced. Whereas I think coaching is quiet, and it comes from a place of like true discovery.